Over the past few months, there have been a few excited comments on my videos and posts on the Dark subreddit about the new series on Netflix, Equinox. What has these people buzzed about the new Danish miniseries, you ask? Well, it would seem, based on the trailer, that there are multiple similarities with the Thea Lindeberg creation and the objective best TV show ever made, Dark. Well, I watched it. Here's what I thought. Actually, before I get into that, for even more podcasts, videos, live streams, analysing TV and film, subscribe to The Culture Cave and give this video a like. Thank you very much. Netflix's Equinox is a Danish mystery drama based on the Danish podcast Equinox 1985. Interestingly, the show is created and written by the same person who made the podcast, film, TV, radio director, and board gamer Thea Lindeberg. From the very first moments, you can see pieces being put in place for the eventual unraveling of the mystery. For example, in the first sequence of the show, we see two characters arguing in the background about a book. Somewhat predictably, but in no way unenjoyable, we see that moment play a larger part in the story later from a different character's perspective. And this is where the strength of Equinox lies. It is not to say that the conclusions drawn at the end are not satisfying, thought-provoking, and interesting. It's just that the investigation phase truly shines brightest. The way in which the information is drip-fed to the audience through flashbacks and a wide and varied cast of characters that would rival any whodunit is deliberate and compelling. It features a split timeline, one in the 90s which chronicles the disappearance of a graduation class and the fallout from that, and the other in the modern day in which the younger sister of one of the disappeared searches for answers. The younger sister in question is Astrid, a troubled, 30-something local radio host who begins to carry out an investigation into the disappearance under the guise of producing a radio program on the incident. In reality, though, her longing for answers is a much more personal journey, on which the apparent meaning for her very existence hinges. The fire is lit under Astrid when she receives a call into her radio show from one of the three pupils who survived the mysterious occurrence 20 years prior. As well as her thirst for knowledge, the call also kickstarts the return of unsettling night terrors that she suffered when she was a child. From there, Astrid careens down the rabbit hole and through the looking glass on a journey that will eventually reveal all the details of a plot laced with references to folklore and nightmarish fantasies. Another strength of the show is the actors' performances. The acting in this show is at a really high quality. The very large cast has a wide range of personalities in the characters, a wide range of ages, and even a wide range of mental states. However, there isn't an actor in the show who hasn't brought their A game. Overall, I enjoyed many aspects of Equinox, and I would recommend giving it a go. The way it manages to intertwine ancient folklore into a modern-day story is really mind-blowing to me. It's also got aspects of questioning what's going on the whole time. It's not until the very end that you truly believe that something is going on or not. It really does keep you on the edge of your seat until then. I myself, I'm going to rewatch it. Because now that I know all the folklore throughout the show, I think I'll get a lot more out of it, and I think I'll be able to understand some clues earlier in the show as well. Because I didn't know anything about the folklore story before I started watching this, and if you already know the Danish folklore story that they focus on, then you'll probably get a lot more out of it on a first watch than I did. But having said that, it's a solid offering from Netflix. Now, let me state for the record, if you're someone who was looking forward to watching this because of its apparent similarities with Dark, you may want to give it a bit of time before checking it out. Go away and return to it when you're ready to see Equinox for what it is, and let it stand on its own 2 feet. Is it perfect? No, nothing is. But what I would say is, you should give it a go. Now let me have a quick word on the similarities between Dark and Equinox, and whether or not they are in the same ballpark. No is the answer. They are very, very different shows with very, very different tones and different styles. I mean, sure, there are a lot of similarities as there are with any shows, and it does make sense that people thought they would be similar based on the trailer. But we should all know by now not to trust trailers completely. I will, however, for anyone who's seen both shows or anyone who's seen Dark and is thinking of watching Equinox, state now a few similarities that there are in the shows. The first of which is that yes, in Equinox, there is another dimension. Is it anything like the other dimensions in Dark? No, but it does exist. Another thing that's similar is that in Equinox and Dark, they both feature split timelines. In Equinox, they have the 90s storyline and then the present day storyline. And obviously in Dark, they have a load of different storylines in different time periods. That's one thing actually that I did like about Equinox as well, is the casting of the older and younger actors to play the different characters at different ages was really good. Not quite up to the standard that Dark set, but still pretty good. They also make the decision to use particular actors for two different ages of a character. So once someone could play a character in their 60s and their 40s, for example, which Dark does not do. Another thing is that they do heavily feature a forest, which gives you a similar feel, as I suppose, in a way. So that's something as well. Another thing is, in Dark there's a character called Mikkel Nielsen, and in the original Equinox 1985 podcast, one of the audio assistants was called Mikkel Nielsen. Same guy? I'm not sure. In reality, it is somewhat hilarious to me that this show was compared so heavily to Dark from the trailer, as Dark itself has suffered in the past from a comparison to another Netflix show, Stranger Things. Now, of course, if you've seen Dark, you know that the Stranger Things comparison doesn't really hold up to scrutiny after the first episode or two. In a similar way, the Dark comparison to Equinox doesn't hold up to scrutiny from very early on as well. But what I find extraordinarily ironic is that to me, Equinox shares some key conceptual similarities with Stranger Things. For example, the Upside Down's nightmarish quality is mirrored with Equinox's The Den, and Astrid parallels Will in many ways. Anywho, as I said, Dark and Equinox are not the exact same show, but they do have some similarities, but tonally, no. I wouldn't say go into Equinox thinking that you're going to watch Dark again. Alright? Keep that in mind, give Equinox a fair shot, and I think you'll like it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you want to see more film and TV analysis and chat, well, subscribe to The Culture Cave. We have podcasts, live streams, videos, you name it. Make sure you like the video as well. Thank you very much. See you next time.